I'm John. I'm the head of admissions at Think Tank. And joining me today for our alumni celebration interview series is my good friend sitting in Alberta, Kassondra McNeil. And she graduated, what, a year ago now?
Almost.
Almost a year
Almost.
ago?
Yeah,
Almost a year ago?
June, July. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And is now working at a small studio in Alberta, in Edmonton?
hmm
Called Lucid Rain Studios. I like the name of that a lot. Very, very cool. So, Cassandra, we try to keep these things to like 10, 12 minutes, whatever, but um, tell us what you were doing before you found Think Tank.
For sure. So before I found Think Tank, I actually was a student still. I was completing a BA degree, the most helpful degree ever, in in art and design, actually at the U of A. So I went straight from high school to a BA degree and then Think Tank. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Um, what triggered you to even look for a school like Think Tank?
Yeah, for sure. Um, so I actually found out about Think Tank through social media, so through Instagram.
Hmm,
I saw the
okay.
Doers and Dreamers scholarship. I saw an ad for that,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
like, "Hey, that's kind of interesting."
Yeah.
Um, but before Think Tank, I actually did 2D art. Like my focus was on being like a digital illustrator. I wanted to do concept art for
Mm,
games.
yeah.
And I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to touch that 3D stuff. Like, and here I am, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was nearing kind of the end of my degree, and I'd been seeing like stuff about the Doers and Dreamers Scholarship and,
Yeah.
all of the amazing work that was coming out of Think Tank. And I was, looking at Think Tank, I was looking at some other options across Canada, just kind of weighing my bets because I was looking at jobs at the end of my degree, at big studios and kind of what the requirements were and stuff. And I was like, man, they're listing software I haven't even heard the name of, ZBrush. And I was like, I don't even know, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So maybe I do have to touch that 3D stuff.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just looked at, alumni testimonies, the work that was being produced, and Think Tank really caught my eye, not only from like the portfolio work by students, but also looking at the way the terms were structured and that the last term was getting that, either kind of like two-on-one or one-on-one, connection with someone in the industry really kind of stood out to me. So that was why I chose Think Tank.
That's awesome. Cool. So you had to go through the admissions process. How was that?
It was with you, it was just fine. A smooth sailing, right?
Pat him on the back. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
exactly.
No, that's
No,
awesome.
no
So
worries. It was fine. Yeah,
yeah, I'm,
totally
I'm
easy.
joking around. But okay, so once you were actually in the program,
hmm
if you could use a few adjectives or even just describe what the experience of going through that 16 months at Think Tank was like
hmm
for you.
Yeah, so when you tell people that it is a lot of work, you are not lying. It is a lot of work, especially if you go into the program, never having touched 3D stuff, which was just like me. It is definitely doable and definitely achievable, but you just kind of need to be ready to put in that work. It really kind of is almost like a job in a way to just learn. Um, but it really was like a great experience. I made so many connections. So, in a way, that part was rewarding, but then also getting to see your progress. Like, I went from not knowing, how to do anything in Maya, in ZBrush, in Substance Painter to now I'm at a studio and just even knowing like, oh, I did that in 2 years is like kind of crazy to me if I look back on it. So yeah, it's definitely you kind of pedal to the metal, a bit of a grind, but like if you are really interested in like kind of put yourself in there, I would say like the personal, achievement of just accomplishing that work and just, pushing yourself to be like as best as you can, is very rewarding. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm trying to ask everybody this one. Um, I think it doesn't matter what you go into in life, but especially something like creative stuff, 3D art. Everybody has a moment of, oh my, I'm not going to make it. I need to quit. Um, did you have a moment like that?
I sure did, John.
Oh, I'm sure you did, Cassandra.
Yeah, so it actually was kind of early on, in the diploma aspect of it. It was at the end of my foundation semester. For people who don't know, I have a disability. I have some numerous health conditions, and at that point, it was kind of very serious for me. And I had to take a little bit of a step back. And during that time, I also kind of was just struggling because it is a huge learning curve to go from, not knowing how any program works at all to then trying to grasp and learn so many programs all at the same time. And so it definitely was like this moment of, should I even be doing this? I feel like all of my, peers and everybody else, knows all this stuff better than I do. My work doesn't even compare. I had these moments of like self-doubt, that I think almost every artist struggles with, and no matter what point they are in their life or their career. And it was definitely then where I was like, really like, I don't know if I should keep going. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I don't know anything. But it really was like my supervisors actually that, I opened up to and reached out, and they have shown me like they've given me quotes that like I have written up on my wall that like keep me going when I still have like those little moments of doubt of like, oh man, I don't really know what I'm doing here or whatever. So um just know that like if you also have like that, maybe I should quit, maybe I'm not good enough. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Sometimes you kind of just have to see it through. And you'll thank yourself like later. You'll thank yourself. Yeah.
That's really awesome. I love that story. Okay, so you graduated,
Hmm.
and of course, in your final term, you got to work one on one with an industry mentor, and that's something that's quite unique to Think Tank, I think, where students actually get to choose an industry mentor to work on their final project with, or the final 16 weeks. What was that experience like working with your mentor?
Fantastic. I did the mentor semester as, the diploma lays out, but then I also did an additional mentorship semester.
Mm.
So I got to have two mentors. And my first mentorship semester, I guess, was two on one, and then my second one was one on one. And both semesters were great. I truly quite love the mentors that I picked. I still bother them to this day. Hi, Chad. Hi, Aaron. If you see this, they're gonna be like, God. Um, yeah, they were fantastic to work with. It really is so helpful getting the opportunity not only to, make that connection with someone who's where you want to be, but also just the ability to, ask as many questions as you need and get that assistance right there. To have somebody, answer texts or whatever, emails to, provide that one-on-one look at, I look at your work and just like give you all of that review and critique that you kind of need that sometimes you can miss out on in university or college or whatever when you're in a bigger classroom. Even just, in comparison to like the earlier semesters, which are still great, just that ability to have, an hour or so of time of just connecting and having them demo you something or, show you something's a little bit off here or there. It really is like quite helpful. And it really did, I think, push like my work. Yeah.
That's really awesome. One of the things that keep hearing from people when I talk to them, and it's not even just doing the interview stuff, but like as I talk to graduates and I talk to people as they're going into their first jobs and stuff like that, everybody talks about the community and about like these mentors and these supervisors that, like, yeah, of course they're paid to support you as you go through school, but they're hired because they love this stuff and they love giving back to you guys. And I hear story after story about like, I still bug my mentor and they're still help me, and like, it's because you're building connections and you're building community. You become, you go from the student mentor relationship to colleagues, and having a mentor for the rest of your career is such an important thing. I have one that has helped me throughout my career. So anyway, super cool. You are now working at a studio, Lucid Rain. How did that happen?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky, which I would say a lot of, landing a job in this day and age, not a lot, but maybe a portion of it can kind of just come down to, are you in the right place at the right time and who you know and all that sort of stuff. So I had actually met people from this studio at Gamescom Canada right before I graduated, actually. So it was in June. Um, and I saw the game they were working on in Furious, and I was like, oh, this looks so neat. Hey, did you render stuff out in Marmoset? I think I recognize the rendering techniques.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool. So we connected a little bit there. And then just kind of through like some of my connections I made on LinkedIn and whatnot, and talking with someone that I know who's, in the industry, I got a chance to meet with the art director, who was just going to give me some like portfolio tips, some review tips on, what I could add or whatever. And he ended up liking the work that he saw so much that he was like, "Hey, would you just like to work on our game too?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, I guess."
Uh,
Was
sure.
not expecting that at all. He definitely was like a deer in the headlights. Are you sure? Me? You know? So,
Well,
yeah, I was
let
very lucky, very, very lucky that it just kind of landed for me.
well,
Yeah.
I say lucky them. You
Well,
know,
thank you.
you, you. Come on, that's awesome. Okay, so my last question for you, and we'll have to make it rather quick because I think we're at like 12, maybe 13 minutes. But
Oh, good.
one piece of advice, right? Like, and
Sure.
I think it's so important for people who are thinking about doing this. There's so much fear in the world about creative careers, and that's never going to change. It just ebbs and flows the way the industry does, right? But if you had one piece of advice for somebody who's sitting on the edge going like, do I do this? What is it?
It's kind of like a two in one. First part is something that all of my mentors have and supervisors have drilled into me since the very beginning is don't be a douchebag. So and I am serious about this too. I now tell other people this as well. Kindness takes you so far. Um, you can have the best portfolio in the world, but if you have a poor attitude or you're kind of a little bit insufferable to be around, people are gonna look at that, right? Because when you're working on a team, um, you're working with each other for long hours, even if it's remote, right? All of the meetings you might have to have or whatnot. And, if you're collaborating with people, it's really important that, you're being true to yourself, but also, being a team player and being as positive as possible. And then that transfers also into, making sure you're networking where you can, because sometimes it can really be about, who you know. And I think Think Tank actually is like provides such a great opportunity for you to not only make friends, but just like connections. I connected again with my mentors and supervisors who are, veterans in the industry. I'm connected with people just starting out. I'm connecting all the time with students that are, just joining in the program, especially because I help out with one of like the think tank servers. So, just getting that opportunity, make as many connections as you can and be as kind as possible. I believe whatever you put out will come back to you. So, yeah.
Yes. As I was saying before, you and your positive approach and that glass half full at all times, you're awesome.
Thank
And
you.
just to sort of play off of what you said, and like, I, other students have said so many similar things. I haven't heard it put quite the way you did, which is wonderful. I love it. in this industry, you have to have the portfolio, and that's what we do at Think Tank is portfolio specialization. But people hire people. That's it, right? If you are not a good person, you can have the best portfolio in the world and all the bridges will be burned around you. Simple as that. So thank you for hammering that home. I think people will really listen to that advice. So, Kassondra, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for doing this and sharing your journey. I know people are going to love it. So I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care.